What is going on, guys? Jack has got you back. Welcome to another tier list on the channel. Last one we did was the Tony Hawk's games tier list. If you haven't checked that out, there'll be like a little annotation on my face if you want to go and check that out. So we're going to be doing something completely different today. Instead of like just checking out like main games or main movies, that sort of thing, today we're going to be taking a look at the boss fights in Spider-Man PS4 / Remastered, and also the Miles Morales game. So with Spider-Man 2 just around the corner, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is almost here, I figured it might be a good idea if we did a tier list on the boss fights in both games. This might actually be a really good idea. I'm quite happy I actually found something like this. Yeah, so as you can see, there's a decent amount of bosses, and I have played through both games religiously, I'd like to say. And I did them both on stream as well. So I'll put like the first part of both streams if you want to go and check them out. Appreciated as always. And yeah, so this is my opinions and everything like that. So if you have your own suggestions, I'd love to hear them in the comment section below. Always love to hear that sort of stuff. But without further ado, let us kick off into the boss fights. So starting off with the boss fight against Mr. Negative. This is the final fight. This is the second fight you have with Mr. Negative, where in the first game you sort of like go through this facility trying to save a scientist, but then you find out like the origins of how Mr. Negative got his powers. And then in this case, you then have to try and take him down because he's going to kill Norman and also the other doctor. But yeah, this boss fight was pretty cool. You had your standard, one-to-one with him with a sword and using his negative powers of like shockwaves and all that. And then as the fight progresses, you then have like this big massive demon thing that he's like inside of. He's like in the middle of like this big massive demon. So like it's up to you to defeat some of his minions and sort of dodge his attacks, dodge the other minions, and then you do like a web strike to take him out of that demon, and then you can finish him off. But yeah, I liked this boss fight. The hell am I going to put this boss fight? I might put it in the awesome category. Like it's just missing that mark of being like spectacular. That's my S rank in this case. Yeah, like it's a pretty good fight, and then like the stuff leading up to the fight, and then the cutscene after the fight, pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Now we move on to the Mr. Negative fight in the train. Very nostalgic for this one, especially if you use like the Raimi suit that you unlock in the game. This is very nostalgic, very nostalgic, because you're in Grand Central Station. Mr. Negative is holding people hostages. Holding people hostage. So it's up to Mary Jane and Spider-Man to try and protect the hostages, and then deal with the minions. And then you get up to the Mr. Negative fight where you meet him in a train, and then you have like this very close quarters, like one-to-one fight with Mr. Negative in a train car. It's so good. And then you have to like dodge his attacks. He has like shockwaves, different type of blasts that he can do. It's a very fun fight. And then of course at the end of all of that, then you have like this very nostalgic, very iconic like section with Spider-Man like trying to stop the train with his webs because it's going too fast. It's a great fight. So I guess without further ado, I'm gonna have to put this into the spectacular category. It's amazing, this fight. Really liked that fight. Right, so moving on next, I believe this is Rhino in the beginning of Miles Morales. This fight was pretty cool. At this point, Miles and Peter are trying to deal with Rhino because he's rampaging through the city after escaping from a police transport. So it's up to Peter and Miles to stop him from rampaging and causing damage to the city. At this point as well, Peter is out of commission, like he gets knocked out by Rhino. So it's up to Miles to take on Rhino one-to-one. But yeah, this fight was pretty good as well. Considering like in the previous game where Miles didn't have any spider powers, he wasn't bitten by the spider yet, you had this whole sneaking section with Rhino that you had to like, you know, try and avoid Rhino's line of sight whilst playing as Miles, try and get some medicine. And then, of course, like, as soon as you get bit by the spider, then it's up to Miles to take on Rhino properly in a boss fight. So the stuff leading up to it, it's great. The boss fight itself is great because Miles gets used to his, like, venom powers, like his electrical powers. I really liked the fight. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put this in the spectacular category. I really dig that fight. Really good. Yeah, this one now is the Rhino fight. A little bit further into the game of Miles Morales, where well, at the end of the first fight, he gets picked up by the Roxxon Corporation for, you know, just to, you know, keep him captured, and nothing bad will ever happen to whatever's going to happen next. Turns out things do go a bit awry, and Rhino now has like this new Roxxon armor type of deal that doesn't get affected by Miles' electrical venom powers. So it's up to you to web up like, I don't know, like some objects and then throw it at Rhino, so then he becomes stunned, and then you can like do like a beat down and try and remove pieces of his armor so he becomes vulnerable. I thought it was a good fight, but nothing on the scale as like Mr. Negative, like the final fight against Mr. Negative. I mean, it's mid for me. Like, it's a good fight, but it's not, you know, it's like another Rhino fight. You know, we've already faced Rhino already in the game. We're fighting Rhino again, but this time it's like a different modifier to that. Like, he doesn't get affected by your venom powers from the get-go. You have to like try and wear him down. I mean, it's okay, so I'm gonna put that in the mid category for me anyway. Alright, so by the looks of things, this next one is the Vulture boss fight, or like the special Vulture boss fight you get in Miles Morales. So in order to get this boss fight, you need to do Peter's like spider training that he leaves you across the city. Once you do that, Peter then tells you to go to ESU, like the university that he went, that Peter went when he was studying. And then you fight Vulture, like a holographic Vulture, which in this timeline was, I think Peter said like it was his first boss, like his first proper villain in this whole canon for like Marvel Spider-Man. So yeah, you have like this whole holographic boss fight with Vulture. It's like very similar to the boss fight we had in the first game, where, you know, he's up in the air all the time. You have to like dodge like his wing attack that he sends like different wings to you. Then you go in for like a web strike. You have to dodge him when he tries to charge at you. Yeah, so that's pretty much the fight. And then you have to fight a second one. So there's like another holographic Vulture. So you have like two holographic Vultures that you have to deal with. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. But I'm gonna put it in the below average. I mean, it is what it is. It's just like another boss fight, just to like flesh out the game a bit more and gives you like a bit more insight to Peter's like first interaction with Vulture and all that. It was okay. It was cool. So moving on to another Vulture boss fight. This is the double fight with Electro and Vulture. This was in the first Spider-Man game. This is like the Sinister Six is now happening. Yeah, so we have Electro and Vulture. This fight was pretty good and pretty dope as well, because you had to deal with not only Vulture, but you also had to deal with Electro at the same time. Like I said before with Vulture, you know, he has like these charge attacks, he has these wing abilities, like these wing darts that he throws at you and all that, so you have to dodge those. When it comes to Electro, he has like this, of course he has like electric thunderbolts he sends towards you, and then he also has like this EMP sort of like attack that you know, tries to draw energy, but then like he sends out like these electric, like thunder, like pieces towards you, and you have to try and dodge and weave around that so you can like web him up. You have to do that constantly. You know, you have to deal with both of them. I really liked the fight as well. I'm going to put it in the awesome category because I really liked that fight as well. Right, so the next one, this is Taskmaster. Very similar to the Peter training, the spider training that you gave to Miles. Taskmaster has placed these goals, these sort of like these missions that you have to deal with, like bombs and hostages, beatdowns as well, like try and sort out like a group of minions, that sort of thing. Once you've done all of those, periodically, Taskmaster will come and intervene with you. So like at one point you could be like swinging across the city, and then all of a sudden you'll get like wrapped up in Taskmaster's like whip thing. Like he throws this thing towards you, and then you're like locked in a boss fight with him. His boss fight was pretty cool. He like sort of learns your abilities. Like you can't keep webbing him up because he'll learn that. So you have to like dodge, you have to like throw stuff at him. Sometimes he'll know that you're about to throw something at him, so he'll like slice it up. So you have to get creative with that. It's like the Mr. Freeze boss fight in Arkham City, but like not quite, you know. It's like he's trying to learn your abilities, but you know, nothing on the scale of like Arkham City. But I really liked the fight. You have 2 fights with him. Very similar, like, you know, he learns your abilities, you know, you have to deal with him, that sort of thing. But I thought it was an okay fight. I'm going to put that in the... Should I put that in the mid or the awesome? That's a tough one, actually. Because it's just, you know, an inconvenience sometimes because he'll just, like, come out of nowhere. But it's also cool because he comes out of nowhere and you're not expecting it. You know what? I'm going to put it in the awesome category. I liked it. I liked it. Right, moving on to Kingpin. This is the Kingpin boss fight. Alright, so this is the first boss fight in the first game. And, yeah, this was pretty cool. You have to, like, deal with turrets. You have to, like, web up these turrets, and you have to, like, throw the turrets at the glass that Kingpin is, like, behind. Because he's protected by glass, so you have to try and throw these turrets so he comes out of that whole container, or that containment thing. And then you have, like, this big, massive fight. He'll try and charge at you. He'll try and, like, land these powerful attacks at you. He'll also call in some minions as well, because that's the kind of dude he is. And then you have, like, this whole quick time event thing with him as well. It's a pretty decent fight. But yeah, I'm going to put it in the mid because, you know, it's okay. It's what you expect from Wilson Fisk. You know, that type of fight. Like, he charges at you, he then tries to, like, punch you a lot, he throws minions at you. It's your typical Kingpin fight, really. So yeah, I'm going to put it in the mid. I'm going to put it in the mid category. Oh, the Shocker boss fight. Now, this boss fight was pretty cool. This is when you encounter him for the second time, because the first time is a chase. This is like the second time. He's in a bank, so he's trying to steal money. And then you corner him in the bank vault, and then you have like this big massive fight in the bank. And he has like these, you know, he has his typical like shockwave, you know, bursts of energy that he tries to, you know, shoot towards you. He also has like this like disruptor ability where it's like, you know, he sends shockwaves out. You have to keep webbing him up and also like throwing objects towards him. So like he has a force field around him. So you have to like throw stuff at him so his force field goes down. And then you could go in for like a web strike and then try to beat him down. Yeah, pretty good stuff. I digged it. I really digged it. I liked it. It's going to go in the spectacular category. It's an S tier. It's an S tier for me. It's S tier. Right, God, Hammerhead is next. I mean, when it comes to Hammerhead, I mean, It's not too bad of a boss fight. There are 2 boss fights with him. I don't know why they didn't include both of them. I think what I'm going to do in this case, I'm going to include both fights. Because there's this boss fight here where he's wearing this exosuit at the end of like the second DLC's episode. You have like this big massive fight with him, and it's your typical hammerhead where he tries to like run towards you, he tries to charge at you. He also has minions. He also has like a gun as well. He tries to shoot you with like energy blasts and all that. But I mean, it's not bad. And then you have like this other boss fight with him where he's like, you know, big massive mech dude, and it's your same sort of thing. He tries to shoot things at you, he tries to punch you, and then when it comes to the second fight, you have to like throw objects towards him, like these bombs that Silver Sable gives you, and then you have to like throw them at him, so then you can go in for like a web strike and like beat him down. I mean, I didn't like these fights, both of them. I didn't like both of these fights. So I'm either going to put it in the below average, or I'm going to put it in the nope. I don't know. Didn't like it. No, didn't like it. There you go. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to put it there. I didn't like it. Didn't like both fights. Right, moving on to Tombstone. This is like an optional, like, side objective type of deal in the first game. Yeah, so in this case, in this boss fight, you corner Tombstone in his garage, and you have like this cure that makes him vulnerable, like mortal again, because when it comes to Tombstone's deal, he's immortal and he doesn't feel pain and he doesn't die. So in this case, you've come up with like an antidote, because he has these minions that he has created with like the same sort of thing he has. So you deal with these minions, and then you synthesize an antidote to make Tombstone mortal and take damage. So then you go to his garage to then, you know, confront him and basically take him out. I dig this fight. It's very close quarters, very similar to like the Mr. Negative fight on the train. Like, it's not as close quarters as that, but like you do have a decent space to sort of like, you know, zip around and all that if things get a little bit hairy. Which sometimes it does, because you have minions, like you have his motorcycle minions that you have to deal with. He'll also try and charge at you. He'll also try and punch you out. And then like towards the end of the fight, like there's more fire, like there's like a canister or like gas that explodes, and then like there's fire that consumes or engulfs the whole garage. So you have to deal with that. I really liked it. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to put that in the awesome category. Excuse me. I'm going to put that in the awesome category because I did actually like it. I did dig it. Right, moving on, we have Rhino and Scorpion. So this is like the other tag team fight in the first game. We have to deal with Rhino and Scorpion at the same time. When it comes to this fight, you have to deal, again, with both of them. So Rhino will try to charge at you mostly. So you have to deal with that. So you have to, like, pull down these, like, pipes and containers on top of his head so he gets stunned. And then you can go in to try and deal damage. And then you also have to deal with Scorpion. Scorpion will try to shoot, like, poisonous, like, goo towards you. He'll also be like clambering all over the containers and all that, because you fight both of these at like the dockyard. So he's going to be like clambering all over like containers and all that, trying to avoid you. So you have to like web him up, so he's stunned and, like, you know, wrapped in webbing. So then you can go in and take damage. Rinse and repeat until you win. But I liked this fight. I did this fight. Again, I'm going to put this in the awesome category because it's similar to like the other fight with like Electro and Vulture. You know, you have to deal with two hostiles at the same time. But I digged it. I really liked it. Yeah, right. So moving on to Doc Ock at the end of the first game. This fight was great because leading up to this fight, you get like the whole dynamic of like Peter and Octavius's relationship. Then you see Octavius like slowly losing his mind, slowly becoming more and more transfixed and really like involved with like the mechanical arms and all that. So you see him start to like lose it. So like, yeah, the stuff leading up to the fight and then having the fight, because, you know, Octavius knows that Peter is Spider-Man. So you have that whole emotional dynamic as well. Then you also have like this unique like suit as well that Peter creates called the anti-Ock suit, which is using the same technology as like Octavius's arms in this case. And it's all like black and it's got like yellow accents on it. It's a dope suit. Yeah, when it comes to this fight as well, like you have to dodge Octavius's like he tried to like throw objects towards you, so then you have to like try and dodge out the way or like throw them back at him. You have to like web him up as well, and then you're going for the kill. That's like the first phase. The second phase is like your mask gets cracked, and then, you know, Octavius says, you know, like he knows who you are, and then you get pissed off, and then you have like this whole fight with him like on the side of the building. Your web shooters don't work because he crushed your web shooters as well. Yeah, then you have like a slugfest. You have to dodge his attacks and all that on like a side of the building. It's great. And then you have like this whole cutscene at the end, you know, saying like, you know, his secret's safe with him, you know, as long as, you know, you protect him and all that. Peter don't care and all that. So yeah, it's a great fight. So I'm gonna put this up in the spectacular category. I digged it. I really, really digged it. Speaking of a boss fight that I digged, the Prowler boss fight in Miles Morales. So Prowler is Miles' uncle, so you already have that emotional attachment, this emotional connection going into this fight. Because you know that Prowler is, you know, Aaron Davis, like, you know, Miles' dad. You already know at this point. Miles knows at this point. So then Prowler is trying to stop you. He's trying to protect you because you're a kid. So he does the thing that Taskmaster does, like he comes out of nowhere and he wraps you and he captures you and he puts you in like an abandoned subway place. He does that. And then Miles gets a little bit angry, he gets a bit annoyed. And then you have like this big massive fight, a big emotional fight against Prowler. He goes invisible. He sends like clones of himself towards you. He tries to shoot you as well with like these different darts and all that. It's a pretty decent fight. I dig this fight. So there's only one place it's going. It's going in the spectacular category. I really liked it. It's pretty good. Really dig that fight. Right, so now we come on to like the final boss fight in Miles Morales. This is against Tinkerer, which is Miles' friend. I forgot her name already. But yeah, it's like Miles' like childhood friend that has like this vendetta against Roxxon because of like what they did to her brother, like killing her brother and that sort of thing. So she goes on like this vengeful like rampage of like becoming the Tinkerer and having like this whole army behind her, creating technology, and then trying to take down Roxxon. So then of course it's up to Miles to like make her see reason. Of course she doesn't see it, and then you have like this big massive fight at the end, and then towards the end she then sees reason, and then she sacrifices herself to save like Harlem, because there's like a big massive bomb that's like, about to go off. So she sacrifices herself because Miles like drains all the energy from the bomb. She picks up Miles and then, you know, zooms into like outer space, or like just up in the sky, so like the blast doesn't reach Harlem and all that. But yeah, sacrifices herself in the end. I thought it was an okay fight. There's different phases to the fight. Like you have this phase of like, you know, she'll try to charge towards you. She has like this big massive sword that turns into a whip, you know, that she'll use. And then she goes into the second phase where she has like these blades, like these roller blades that she tries to send towards you. She has shockwaves that she sends towards you. Overall, I thought it was an okay fight. I didn't mind it at all, in all fairness. But yeah, I think without further ado, I'm going to put it in the awesome category. I dig the fight. I digged it. But yeah, moving on to the final boss fight in this whole tier list is the Silver Sable fight at the beginning of episode 3 of the DLC. This was okay. It's sort of like Taskmaster in a way, because she sort of like knows your moves. If you try to like web her up like with web bullets, she'll just disarm them. She'll try and get rid of them. So you can't web her up. You have to try and dodge her as much as you can, and you have to try and go in for the kill as much as you can. It's an okay fight. I mean, is it on the same? Is it the same as the Hammerhead, or is it the same as the Vulture, the holographic Vulture fight? It's below average. Yeah, I'm putting it there. I'm putting it there. But yeah, I believe that is all of the boss fights in both Miles Morales and Spider-Man PS4. Let me know what your favourite boss fight is, what your least favourite boss fight is, what your list is going to be like as well. I'm very intrigued to hear your tier list. As always, love to hear your opinions. Always appreciated. But yes, guys, that's where I'm going to have to cut it for today's tier list. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. If you have, go ahead, subscribe, and also ring that bell to stay notified when I go live or when I do post videos. And yeah, love to hear your comments. Always appreciated as always. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, and as always, I'll see you in my next video or stream. Take care. Have a good day. Catch you later.